much for watching. Today's video is a tutorial. I'm going to show you how to cover red blotchy skin. Sometimes if you have red blotchy skin from a rash or some kind of irritation, your best bet is not to wear makeup at all. But if you just get some redness, just want to know how to cover it up, this is the video for you. I often get red blotchiness from a skin rash from an autoimmune disease that I have, and I tend to not really cover it up so that I don't irritate it further. But sometimes if I use specific face masks or I just have some acne or something like that, I'll go in and I'll cover it all up. I have a tutorial for getting flawless skin coverage, like spot concealing. I'll link that in the description box below. This isn't really spot concealing, this is covering big patches of red blotchiness. So if your issue is acne and you've got like small spots to conceal, then go ahead and check out that other video. I will show you how to cover all that redness. Just keep watching. The first thing I'm going to do is moisturize using my Kiehl's moisturizer. This one is for very dry skin. Oh, sweetie. My redness isn't from a rash right now, it's just from a facial. I did this mask that always makes my skin bright red. So I wanted to show you guys how to cover it up. If you do have any kind of irritation, I do recommend avoiding makeup. My Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I got a little sample of this. Alright, let's see if this actually does anything. My L'Oreal Cushion Foundation. You might want to use a foundation that's a little bit lighter and not too heavy. Something that gives the skin a really natural look. Sometimes it can become really heavy really fast when you cover up redness. This one's nice because it's kind of like a light coverage and it won't cover everything. But then we're gonna go ahead and use a really good concealer to kind of spot conceal. I'm gonna use my NYX color. Ooh, I just got my... Okay, hold on. Alright, I'm gonna take my NYX Color Correcting Concealer Palette, green. Sometimes your best bet is to use the opposite color of the problem you're trying to fix first. That way you can use less concealer. It'll look less heavy on the skin. So you see how that green is canceling out the redness? Let me show you on this red spot here. You can do this for dark spots too. If your dark spots show up like mine and they're kind of purpley, you can use a yellow colored concealer to cancel them out. If it shows up more red, brown, then maybe use green. And if they show up more blue, you can use a more orange based concealer. You might feel like you look a little strange because you can still see the green. But once you've gotten your skin color concealer on top of this, it'll look great. Right now you're just kind of canceling out and trying to make everything a little more even in tone. And then later you'll go in and make everything even in color. This is key to covering up tattoos as well. If you're trying to cover up a tattoo that has more bluish ink, you're going to want to cancel out that blue tone with an orange concealer. Okay, and then underneath my eyes, I'm going to use the pink concealer. Now I'm taking my Naked Skin concealer from Urban Decay, and I chose this because this one is almost an exact match to my skin tone, and you don't want a concealer lighter or darker than your skin tone for this step. You just want one that's like your skin color. And I'm putting some on the areas where we color corrected, and you can still see green. I'm using a dabbing motion, and I'm pushing the product into my skin instead of buffing it. That way I'm not going to move the color correcting that we did underneath. I'm just dabbing this on top instead of sweeping it around. This is a very similar concept to spot concealing, except I'm color correcting and putting skin tone concealer in larger areas of the skin. If you have a really tricky spot, I would suggest using a concealer like the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Concealer, something that comes in a solid form instead of a liquid form. Those tend to give off a little more coverage, and you can use like a little tiny brush and dab the concealer on and just blend out the edges around where you dabbed it on. Something like this is a little more sheer, a little more like good for bigger planes of the face instead of like a little spot. Okay, and then once you're happy with how your redness is covered up and how your complexion looks, go ahead and take a powder. I'm gonna go ahead and use my NARS Eden powder. This guy is in loose, he's a loose powder. I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush and just set all of that concealing that we did. This is a really important step, even if you have dry skin and don't normally use powder. I would say if you're doing a lot of concealing, you definitely need to use a powder afterwards, because if you don't, your concealer is gonna move around and settle into fine lines and make your skin look worse than if you just hadn't concealed at all. Okay, and then you are good to go. You can go ahead and finish the rest of your makeup. You can put on some blush, some mascara, some eyeshadow, do your brows, whatever. This tutorial was just to show you how to fix redness in the complexion. I do recommend using a face primer first, using light foundation, something that looks very natural. Don't try and cover all of your red patchiness with a very thick opaque foundation, because it may work, but it's gonna look a little heavy on the skin. Your best bet is to do a light foundation and then do some color correcting with a green concealer, and then if you have to, use a skin color concealer after that. Set your concealing with powder afterwards and you should be good to go. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.